I never thought a bird would end up saving my farm from a break-in. But that's honestly how the whole mess started. Imagine rolling back onto your land after a cold snap, half expecting the world to be asleep, only to spot a robin strutting across your gate like it's paying rent, looking right at you, then darting off toward the little hill cabin that shouldn't have had any life in it since November. That's when my stomach dropped, because the first whiff of wood smoke in the air told me someone was up there, lighting fires in a place I'd shut tight for the winter. No one, and I mean no one, was supposed to be in that cabin. You ever get that prickly feeling, the one that says something's off, but you can't prove it yet? That was me, following those fresh boot prints up my own driveway. Every crunch under my tires sounding louder than it should that I'd left the place like I always do. Water bled from the pipes, fridge unplugged, main house locked with hardware you could ship a car in. The cabin itself? Just a twin bed, potbelly stove, a table I built myself, and a bunch of mismatched mugs I'm too sentimental to toss. No deadbolt because, well, this is supposed to be the kind of place neighbors watch out for each other. Or so I thought. I'm a seasonal guy here, in for the winter cold, gone before spring tears up the roads. Everything's supposed to be just as I left it. But right there on the porch, a battered duffel, two ugly neon grocery sacks, and this mug I've never seen before. Cartoon raccoon flipping the world the bird, classy as mud. Door not latched, leaves swept up against it. Then I hear footsteps inside, and my breath comes out in little clouds. I call out, hello. And the answer's not the neighborly, hey there, you expect in the country. It's clipped, annoyed, like I'm interrupting someone in their own living room. The man steps out, mid-30s, sunburned, buzz cut, wearing my flannel with my name still stitched inside, boots that had been collecting dust in my own mudroom. He looks at me like I'm the problem. I have permission, he says, not even blinking. Laura from your HOA said I could stay. Do you a favor watching over the place? Like he's dropping the president's name buys him some right to be there. He actually tells me, straight-faced, he's here for the summer. Fixed up the place, whether stripped the door, split firewood, and I should thank him. You ever hear a guy lie with that much confidence, you start wondering if maybe you're the one who's lost the plot. But I know my locks. That inside latch. You don't get in unless you pull the window trim or bust the threshold. He shrugs it off, claims a neighbor said I leave the place open for hikers. I shut that down quick. Nope. Pack your stuff. That's when he grabs his phone, like a magic wand. Says he's not going anywhere, and if I make trouble, he'll call the cops. Says the word tenancy, like it's a shield. I know enough to know that word matters. A trespasser versus a tenant, and I had never, not once, given permission for anyone to be here. So, I call the sheriff too. Figure, let's make this official. When the deputies arrive, they split the difference. Ask me for the deed. Ask him for a lease. He's got nothing. Just some junk mail and my own electric bill, still unopened, addressed to me. The officers look over the latch, the screws, the scuffed floor where he dragged my table to barricade the door. He admits he pulled the screws out with his multi-tool. It's obvious. Forced entry, not some friendly arrangement. Twist comes when the deputies ask him how long he's been there. 3 months, he blurts, as if more time makes him more legit. But in the end, they cuff him, detain him for burglary, for making a false police report, all while he's sputtering that I'm the intruder. I watch him get marched off my porch, protesting he's the victim, when it's clear as day who crossed the line. But just as I'm catching my breath, Laura, the HOA president herself, comes flying up the hill in her Subaru, scarf snapping in the wind. She doesn't look at me, just starts in on the deputies. This is a misunderstanding. Her cousin was here for the community's safety. There'd been talk of prowlers. She had every right as HOA president to authorize this. Deputy just shakes his head. HOA can regulate mailbox color, not hand out keys to someone's cabin. The more she talks, the thinner her authority sounds. I stand there, steady now, telling her I'll be filing charges and a complaint, and call a special meeting if I have to. For a split second, she falters, maybe wondering if she pushed too far. That night, the place is quiet again, but it's a changed kind of quiet. I walk the grounds, double-check my new deadbolts, sweep the cabin for damage, and start taking photos of every scrape and gouge. Evidence, you know. Boring until it's the most valuable thing you've got. Neighbors start reaching out. Turns out, plenty of folks saw her cousin coming and going, hauling my generator up the hill, ruts in the drive from his ATV, but no one said a word because they figured I must have known. There's always someone who thinks a seasonal house is fair game if the lights are off long enough. The aftermath's a mix of cleanup and cold bureaucracy. Insurance calls, locksmiths, detective statements, trail cam footage, meetings with attorneys, a petition to remove Lura from the board. Neighbors split. Some say the HOA needs more power, some say less. The detective tells me I did everything right, kept my cool, had my paperwork ready, waited for law enforcement. Still, it doesn't shake off easy. Restitution comes in slow, neat checks. My sense of peace takes longer to settle. At the board meeting, facts went out over feelings. Lura gets removed. New rules get passed that make it crystal clear. The board doesn't get to enter your property without your say-so or a court order. Meanwhile, Catan pleads guilty: burglary, false report, criminal mischief, theft, plus an old warrant that means he's not going anywhere soon. Restitution gets ordered and a permanent no contact. I hang my father's brass nameplate over the new deadbolt and realize ritual is how you reclaim your space after someone scripts themselves into your story. I reinforce the boundaries, physically and legally, and the board adopts a neighbor watch system. No one touches a door without written consent. That's how you keep a community honest. But here's where the story tilts. Right when I think it's over, the HOA sends out a new letter about inspecting seasonal properties for unauthorized occupancy. Feels like a dare, but I post a big, bold sign with the state statute on my fence and upload a photo to the HOA portal. No comment needed. The numbers say it all. I get a few texts from Lura, first indignant, then pleading. By now, Caton's voicemails have gone from angry to apologetic, and my patience has run out. Some neighbors still debate, did I overreact? Was it just a misunderstanding? But I know what happened on my hill, and so does anyone who's ever had to defend their home from the slow creep of someone else's entitlement. Spring comes. The frost lifts. I finish repairs, replace what was lost, and let the silence of the land fill back in. I hang a mat that just says home. And when people ask if I regret pressing charges, I say no. You call the police on someone in their own house, you answer for it. That's the law, and that's the line. So, what would you have done? Do you think I went too far or not far enough? Is it ever okay for a community board to overstep into someone's life, even with good intentions? Or should the line around a person's home be absolute? Tell me your take, because in places like this, what happens on one hill always finds its way to the rest. And sometimes, all it takes is a bird, a broken lock, and a little patience to remind you where you really belong. Friends, thanks for listening. I'd love to hear your thoughts on right and wrong, boundaries, and the ways we defend what's ours. Drop a comment, share your story, and let's keep this conversation going. See you next time.